morning, my friends. It's been a long time since I shot a video, and the reason is because I was feeling a little self pity. I was feeling a little down on myself, and I was feeling like stuff just didn't matter anymore. You know what? That couldn't be further from the truth, folks. I got a daily reflection for you today, just a little bit of it, to share exactly what I'm thinking. You ready to go? Let's get it. Back in 2014, I was voted most likely to relapse in rehab. Is that messed up or what? Let me tell you the context. I had done so much of the work and I had done all of my journaling and I had been pretty much the model patient. And you know what? It actually earned me a lot of credibility, but what it really did was show how transparent I really was. I was fragile. My ego was big, and I didn't like to fail. And the counselors knew that. That led me to a relapse just 2 days after I got out of rehab. Now, some of y'all know that. And for those of y'all that are subscribed to the channel, I appreciate you. And if you haven't, consider subscribing if this kind of content is for you. And if you're either struggling in sobriety, struggling to get sober, or you're living in recovery. If you dig it, give that thumbs up. Now that's all that admin. Let's get that out of the way. All right, so the root of this video for me is learning to actually trust yourself, learning to be part of the people around you instead of just yourself. Because I can speak for me. I was always independent and I was always self reliant when I was growing up, and I was always self reliant as I came up in life, because it wasn't that good. It was a grinder. My life was a meat grinder. And for me, I felt like I was the only one I could trust, and that set me up for a lot of success as well as a lot of missed opportunities. And a lot of you know what that's like. And if you do, drop that comment below because somebody is watching who needs to hear what you have to say. Shout out to everybody doing the daggone thing. Let's drive on. I'm going to read just a little bit, not much. Don't run because it applies to today's video. Years of dependency on alcohol as a chemical mood changer deprived me of the capability to interact emotionally with my fellows. I thought I had to be self sufficient, self reliant, and self motivated in a world of unreliable people. Finally, I lost my self respect and was left with dependency, lacking any ability to trust myself or to believe in anything. Surrender and self examination while sharing with newcomers helped me to ask humbly for help. Now, that's part of today's daily reflection, surrender, and self examination for July 17th of the Daily Reflections, my friends. In the United States Army, we have to be a team and we have to be team oriented in order to achieve our missions. Now, I spent 20 years in the United States Army and I did most of that on my own. But where that left me short, folks, was getting promoted. Now, I got promoted 6 times. 7 if you count the demotion and then the repromotion. And I made it to Staff Sergeant in the United States Army. Now, I could have made it to Sergeant First Class or better if I had learned to be a team player, if I had learned to rely on other folks, because, it is true what that daily reflection just said. I had to be self-sufficient. I had to be self-reliant and self-motivated in a world of unreliable people, because that's what my life contained as I grew up. I couldn't rely on my parents. I couldn't rely on my family. I couldn't rely on anybody around me because my world was violent. And I took that with me through my adulthood. And you know what? When I got into the United States Army, I thought the same thing. I had to do the best physical fitness. I had to do the best weapons qualification. I had to be the best at my job. But where I failed is I did not understand how to be a team player and rely on other folks. Because through the surrender and the self examination, I have learned about myself that I really don't have that emotional connection with people. And honestly, I feel like I lack that bone. And some of you might relate to that. And if so, do that daggone thing. Hit the little like button, do the comment. Definitely do the comment because other folks need to hear it, like I always say. So I really didn't know how to connect with people. And on a certain level, I still don't. But I'm working at it every single day to be a little bit better. How does that apply to the statement I made in the beginning of this video about rehab? I had been doing all this work through my 7 weeks in rehabilitation, but I hadn't like really bonded with anybody. I hadn't really connected with anyone in my group, and I hadn't really shared completely with my counselors. And why? Because I was self reliant, because I was self motivated, and because I did not think anybody around me was trustworthy. I truly didn't. And so, what that does is that sets up barriers. And a lot of us have these barriers, and sometimes they're helpful, most times they're not. You could agree or disagree. That's totally up to you, and I'd love to hear what you think about it. And so, 2 days after I got out of rehab, after doing a super job and being a model patient and on and on and on, I relapsed, like a lot of you know. And I didn't just relapse, I was off to the races, so to speak, for another 2 years. And I had no idea how to connect with people. I had no idea how to truly reach out for help. And that took me down a deep hole, my friends. And that took me down a deep hole that cost me my marriage almost, that cost me my relationship with my son, that cost me literally all the money I had, that just took the life out of me. And I was left with, as that daily reflection says, a lack of self respect. I didn't respect myself anymore. And I thought to myself, this world, this globe, will be better if I wasn't in it. Yes, that's right. And so I started having these thoughts over and over and over because I didn't know how to connect with people, because I didn't know how to be fully transparent, and I didn't know how to talk to folks like you about what was going on right up here, folks, because that's a dark place if you're in it alone. Now, I did a video on men's mental health, a live stream rather, not too long ago. And, I had a couple friends on there and they know me and they can tell you for certain, one of them can for sure, how I was as an active alcoholic, how I had that inability to connect with people. But as far as men's mental health, folks, and mental health in general, if we don't know how to connect with people and we don't know how to be fully transparent to ourselves, then we are lacking, my friends, and we will be stuck inside of our heads, one, and then next in the same rut or the same place that you're in or we are in. And that goes with my 2 year relapse that I almost didn't come back from. Not sure how to exactly connect all the dots, but I started slipping back into my own head and I started not trusting people and I started not reaching out. And those are the alcoholic behaviors that I've been trying to overcome for the last 8 and some change years. Living sober is difficult if you don't have a support channel, and living sober can be daunting if you're not taking advantage of every full moment, every chance to give back, and every chance to extend your hand and help somebody, or just to be an ear. You're going to miss out, man. And, I think I've been missing out because I've been stuck in a rut and I've been stuck in these alcoholic behaviors and I've been stuck in these alcoholic thoughts. And I haven't drank, folks, and I haven't thought about drinking, but the same behaviors are starting to replay themselves. So, you know what? I got to put myself in check. And surrender and self-examination, today's daily reflections, made me think of all that. because I do lack a certain, I don't know, a character trait, a certain quality, a certain attribute, however you want to bubble that, that keeps me from truly connecting with people. Now, I've made some friends here and there. Speaking of which, I love an alcoholic. I hope you got that hat, and I hope you got the one sober to another cap, and I hope that you like the way I packaged it and everything else. Let me know, just so I know you got it. And if you dig it, I don't know, maybe sport it and say, guess what? That's a one sober to another cap. And that's not a self motivation, folks, out of the daily reflections. That's just seeing if I love an alcoholic got the hat. So the bottom line here, friends, is connect with people. Genuinely connect with people and genuinely offer your hand and genuinely just speak your mind and be transparent about what's going on with you, because ultimately we pay the price if we're not able to be honest with ourselves and others. And you know what? I got to do a little bit better at that. So, folks, as I always say, life is a garden. I appreciate everybody who has subscribed. I am chopping through the comments of a lot of videos, so be patient. I'll try to get to them as fast as possible, and I try to make my comments as genuine as I possibly can. So, friends, have a good day. I appreciate you. Life is a garden. If you gotten any value out of this short little video, do that daggone thing. Drop that comment and consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one.